Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jenny Palkanius and I'm your host. On the show this morning, we're going to give you updates on some new bio-based uses for soybeans. We're also going to start our celebration of July is Ice Cream Month. Folks, it's going to be a great show. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome back to Michigan Farm and Garden. We do have a great show lined up for you this morning. We always talk about the importance of agriculture, and on the show last week, we were able to talk with Keith Reinhold of the Michigan Soybean Promotion Committee about some of the new uses, the bio-based procurement program that the government has looked at and endorsed, and there just wasn't enough time to get through everything and all those new bio uses. So Keith is back, and we're going to do a little update and talk to you about some of the other new uses, certainly talk about the bio-based program, why that's important. But there's a lot of neat innovations here that we have in the state and across the U.S. using those crops. So we just need to make sure we have opportunities to get those in the marketplace, let those be used in the marketplace, and especially when they're used in places where consumers go, that you can see them, see the results. It gives you an idea of what you can go ahead, you can get, and you can use at your own home, certainly looking at what's good for the environment and how important those products are. So Keith is here. We're going to talk more about those products, and then we also have a video on the soybean foam. So we're going to show that to you so you can learn a little bit more about the foam, how that works, and how that's used. Then I have with me Mary Sowers from Ashby Sterling Ice Cream. Mary is back, and we're going to start our celebration of the fact that July is Ice Cream Month. Certainly, it's hard to believe that July is already here, but as we look at July, we want to make sure we're ready. So Mary's going to share with us some information and some neat ways that we can use ice cream and incorporate ice cream, and then come back for the recipe and share red, white, and blueberry cream pie. Looks absolutely wonderful. Very, very easy, and folks, this time of year, certainly something we want to be looking at. So it is going to be an absolutely wonderful show here on Michigan Farm and Garden. Make sure you stay tuned, and we will be back with our first guest right after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week, brought to you by the Corn Marketing Program of Michigan.
Soybeans have more than a $1.5 billion economic impact, resulting in nearly 7,000 jobs within the state. They are grown on more than 10,000 farms in more than half of Michigan's counties. Soybeans are used in candles, shampoos, makeup, lotions, chain oils, ink, lubricants, spray foam insulation, crayons, teddy bears, vegetable oil, and soy milk, just to name a few uses. For more information and more uses, go to michigansoybean.org.
Corn touches your life every day. With over 600 items in the store that contain corn, it's America's renewable resource. There are amazing new products made from corn, like comforters, clothes, corn stoves, dinnerware, and of course, ethanol.
Corn, America's renewable resource, powering industry, feeding America, and fueling the future.
Thanks to Michigan's corn farmers, the future is bright for innovative products made from corn. To learn more about how corn touches your life, visit our website.
And welcome back. We are back with Keith Reinhold of the Michigan Soybean Promotion Committee. Keith, welcome back.
Glad to be here again. This is fun times.
Well, it's good to have you here, and there's so much going on. There's so much to talk about.
Well, let me say this, though, that last show I was a proponent of the Upper Peninsula, and some people have asked me, are you from the UP? No, I'm not. With a name like Reinhold, there aren't many Germans up there. Secondly, I do have other jackets. Now, I've had this on 2 weeks in a row, but I do have other jackets. I just happen to grab this one this time. So I want to clarify some things
There
first.
you go. There you go.
The last show, we visited a little bit about bioproducts, and I just mentioned that we as a commission do a number of activities, agronomic mainly, but we do new use activities. A key is to find these products, then the next key is to introduce these products into the marketplace. And I think as I review quickly, they were interested, well, I should, once again, I'm touting the Upper Peninsula, but the interest from us came from up there. And what better place than some place that's so nicely pristine to want to keep that environment that way. We talked about pictured rocks, so that's something that we think has created a lot of interest. We also had some interest from Hiawatha National Forest. And now we have a slide that is kind of an intro to that. This happens to be the ranger station at St. Ignace. However, they're really headquartered out of Escanaba. But this is, once again, a federal entity, and they require that, they don't require, they ask federal government to purchase bio-based products. We talked about that if their price and performance competitive. So Hiawatha had some interest. I think the next slide we have is just a picture of the manager who was just really interested in this product, and this is Toby Rue with myself as we were trying to design and come up with some activities. I think the next slide that we have, and I want to spend some time talking about this one because the next slide is one of, I don't know, it's a big piece of equipment. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a big piece of equipment with Toby. But the point is, when he ordered this new piece of equipment, he went to the manufacturer and he said, and he got bids from companies and says, the only way I will accept this piece of equipment is if it comes loaded green with biohydraulic systems, you know, the different type. And there were some questions, but he got it done. Because people frequently say it won't work in our equipment. Here's a brand new piece of equipment that came loaded with that material. So Toby's a real proponent for that. Another slide we have is just a slide that shows the diversity of products that Hiawatha decided they wanted to use. And actually, we were out in the campgrounds when we snapped this picture with a pickup because maybe your viewers can't read this, but there's soy toilet scrub, there's cleaners, there's hand sanitizers, there's a number of things like this that are soy bio-based. So it's not just that you have fuel, it's not just you have hydraulic products, but you can have some other products as this slide shows. The next slide is a little bit different. We transition. Northern Michigan University has, well, long story short, they were given a golf course and a will. They have to make this golf course within itself profitable, and the manager there says, well, let's make this golf course green. Let's use bio products in this golf course. So what we're seeing on the slide is they decided that they had an asphalt tarvy parking lot. Is there a way to condition that asphalt so that it is in fact impervious to water penetration? Because we all know that asphalt has that type of thing. Happens to be a soy bio-based product that you can spray on the asphalt, and it does condition the asphalt because one of the way asphalt deteriorates is water sinks in, freezing, thawing, and it upheaves it. That's one of the problems. The last slide that we have, even taking it a step further, this happens to be the cart path out in the golf course. So I think this number 1 tee or something like that, I guess it's not of great relevance to our conversation. But anyway, so we sprayed a cart path. So the golf course thought, well, we will promote ourselves for being green, and it's worked out very well. So, and once again, this is at Northern Michigan. So, you know, we've had 2 shows here. We've tried to show the applications, a number of different products, why, and as someone said, why are you using that? And his comment, well, isn't it the right thing to do? That was basically what it amounted to. So I think this gives your viewers an idea, a concept of what can be done, what is being done. The difficult thing is to penetrate the market. As you know, you can have a product that's price competitive, it's performance competitive, but to get shelf space. And so that's one of the challenges we have.
Well, and I think too for consumers, you know, certainly when you can get a use like this and show them in a public place where people can go, but to do this at home, where do they go find the products? How do they say, we're going to make our house green?
That's one of our challenges that we have because you have to buy shelf space. If you own a store, you want to turn that shelf over time and time again. So they put the products on there that turn over most quickly. So to get shelf space is difficult. It's rather costly initially. And many of these products are not available just in general consumer where they shop. And I'm not promoting any particular entity, but Farm and Fleet does carry some, you know, because of the agriculture nature. And you can find some of these. The real key, if somebody's watching that wants to use their search engine and go on and say green bio products or bio-based products, they'll get all kinds of fines on that. So you can get them. Yes, it's a little challenge. These are more industrial applications. If there's some company watching out there that has asphalt that needs conditioned, you know, you can Google that or whatever search engine gets some information on that too. So they're not really available. You have to search a little bit.
Well, and one thing I want to hit you with, we brought it up last week, didn't have a lot of time, food and fuel. I mean, I've heard, what are we doing, taking this food and turning it into all these other uses?
And I think for those that are not certainly as knowledgeable as you or I, that's a good question. But it's one that has an answer. And I think the answer perhaps is one that they might not expect, but these are somewhat ubiquitous products. Now, let me use soy oil as an example. At one time, soybean oil was 85% of the edible market. For various reasons, that's gone down to 70%. So we need to create uses for that additional 15%, which we're trying to do. So we're not really taking it away. And second thing that's important from soybeans is oil makes up 20% of the bean. Meal makes up 80%. So as you grow more beans for oil, you're getting more meal to feed animals as a source of protein. So.
Well, and I think that's important, and I appreciate the clarification. I know from my previous employment and my background, we had a lot of the same things with corn and ethanol. You have a fuel, but you still have the livestock feed,
right.
So you didn't take it out of the market. But I just think that point doesn't get across. So I very much appreciate you making that and explaining that.
Okay.
So.
Well, I guess it's a fact, and let's make it known, and I think people appreciate that.
Folks, you heard it. There is enough out there for food, fuel, for all these new uses, all these new opportunities, and get out there, make sure you go ahead and look for bioproducts. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And welcome back. We are back with Mary Sowers of Ashby Sterling Ice Cream. Mary, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate coming back.
It's great to have you here, and it's exciting because we've had things to celebrate in June and even more to celebrate in July.
Right, and we're just finishing up June, and June being Dairy Month, and I have a couple fun facts for you I'm going to ask you and see if you can get this for me, okay? Cow's life is approximately how many years? You got any idea?
Oh.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Okay, I was gonna guess 8 to 10.
20.
Really?
Approximately 20 years. And another fun fact is you're peeking. How many quarts a day?
Oh, I should. I wasn't. I was thinking 8 to 10.
How many quarts a day does an average cow produce of milk?
Oh man, and we had Ken. Oh, I hope Ken Novus isn't watching the show because we talked about it. We talked about James.
It's about 40.
Wow.
About
okay,
40.
I'm glad I didn't
It's
guess.
about 40 quarts a day that the average cow can produce. So those are just a couple fun facts. And actually, National Dairy Month has been June since 1937. So it's something that we've come to celebrate in the United States. So it's kind of cool. Kind of a cool thing.
It's very cool. And what a strong industry. And looking at Dairy Month rolling into Ice Cream Month.
Rolling
it's just a great
into July, that's right. And in 1984, President Reagan declared July as National Ice Cream Month. And specifically, the third Sunday in July is National Ice Cream Day. So that is something that if you want to check with your local ice cream parlors, you just might find a special on that day.
Oh, I would think so. In July, you always need ice cream.
Oh, I know. It's absolutely delicious. One of the flavors that I brought here today is one of our Ashby Sterling flavors. This is amaretto cherry. It's an amaretto-based ice cream with the dark chocolate and the maraschino cherries. And you know, people ask me, she said, that's kind of an unusual flavor, but it's actually our 4th bestseller, with vanilla being #1, chocolate #2, butter pecan, then of course all the kids' flavors. Superman, gotta have Superman, and then the cherry amaretto kind of rounds out the top 5 flavors.
Well, and it is, you bring that up. I know the first time that we let Rachel have ice cream, it was Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think of all the flavors, and it's like, oh, she's little, she's got to have Superman.
Oh, she's got to have Superman. But you know, you'd be surprised how many 50, 55-year-old men and women I find ordering Superman. It's really, it's not just for kids. It's not just for kids.
No, because I shared it with her.
Oh, there we go.
We both had it.
Mom finished it, huh?
Yeah. We kind of shared it. Well, and you know, I think that's one nice thing is ice cream always is so fun. Nobody do you ever say, do you want ice cream? And there's so much you can do with ice cream, and so much diversity, not just in the flavors, but in what you can use it in.
Applications, correct. And you know, that's when you mentioned that it being a fun product. How many times does someone go into an ice cream parlor or at home open a carton of ice cream and have a frowny face, and then they've had that ice cream and it's like, oh, they just light up. They're just so excited. It just kind of makes your day. Some of the other fun things that you can do with ice cream, besides an ice cream cone or an ice cream sundae, you can take a couple homemade cookies, maybe a peanut butter or chocolate chip cookie, and make homemade ice cream sandwiches. You can either make them on the spot or wrap them up and put them back in your freezer. You can do any type of a shortcake type sundae. But what I tell everybody is, just take a look at whatever fresh produce is out there, whether it be fresh strawberries or raspberries or peaches or apples. You can come up with so many different toppings for an ice cream sundae, or make a fruit pie and use the ice cream as a complement to it.
Oh yeah. Well, and one of the things we always do are smoothies.
Oh yeah.
And that scoop of ice cream in with that fruit for that smoothie, it makes it amazing.
Absolutely wonderful. You talk about ice cream, but there's other products too. Our ice cream is a 14% butter fat, so it's super rich and creamy. But there's also yogurts out there, and yogurt is about a 4 or 5% butter fat, and there's sherbet, which usually about 3 or 4% butter fat. And then you mentioned smoothies, and there's a lot of people who use sorbet, and sorbet is an all-natural fruit and fruit juice product that has no dairy products at all. It's a totally lactose-free. So there's something for everyone out there, and a nice cool treat.
Well, Mary, we appreciate it.
Well, thank
Time
you.
always goes so fast. We're going to have you back, and we are making Ashby's red, white,
and blue berry cream pie.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful.
It's delicious.
We appreciate it so much, folks. Certainly, July, get out there. You heard it. Try those sorbets. Try those ice creams. We want to make sure you get out there and get some cool relief on a hot summer day. We'll be back with a quick video right after this message where you can learn more about the uses for soybeans.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
According to the Soy Info Center, automotive pioneer Henry Ford once said, "If we want the farmer to be our customer, we must find a way to be his customer." Ford was a strong believer in farm chemergy, applying chemistry and allied sciences in the transformation of farm crops into industrial products. In 1929, when the Great Depression hit, especially farmers, Ford set out to develop new ways to help them out of hard times. That year, he built a large laboratory in Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan. He and his researchers began experiments to find a farm crop that could be grown in Michigan and that showed promise for use in industry and as food. In December of 1931, after extensive tests on virtually every farm crop known, the soybean was chosen as the most hopeful contender, rich in both oil and protein, with a residual fiber good for many uses. Ford's researchers were pioneers in developing processes and equipment for the solvent extraction of soy oil, and by 1935, a bushel of soybeans went into the paint and molded plastic parts of every Ford vehicle. Today, in the shadow of his soy lab, preserved at Greenfield Village, is Ford Motor Company's Research and Innovation Center. There in 2001, they began working with soy polyol to look at its potential to replace a percentage of petroleum polyol in flexible foam for automotive seating. 1 year into the project, which was showing promise, they connected with the United Soybean and Michigan Soybean Boards, who offered a grant to help continue their work. Ford teamed up with Lear Corporation, a world leader in auto seating. They faced some challenges early on, but today are pleased with their success.
When we first started this, we thought, how hard can this be? You know, we'll put some soy in there, and of course we're going to get a great foam. Well, this is an example of one of our first introductory foams. Not very impressive. I don't think you'd want this in your car. So we went through a lot of development work. In fact, made hundreds of foams trying to perfect the formulation so that we could get to a point where we'd have a flexible, durable foam that could be used in seating.
They resolved issues dealing with odor and fogging, the release of volatiles inside a car, and they had to be sure the soy foam performed like its predecessors.
Well, one of the advantages of foam and seating in general is that there are very well established and stringent automotive specifications that existed already. So what we were able to do is basically formulate for equivalency. And that gave us a standard. We didn't have to establish a new standard of performance that we knew related appropriately to field performance. So I think that's why we were able to use those same levels of standards and measure the new product against it. And once we had confidence that, at least on paper, you know, and then from lab data, it looked good, then we were able to scale up into production, build actual properties, and then run the same tests on them that we would on a normal seating property. And that includes some pretty aggressive robotic ingress-egress, and we have what we call a bouncing Betty that bounces on top of the seat for a long time to make sure it's not going to crush. And then we went through the whole comfort profile with Ford. They do comfort testing on the product, you know, everyone sits in it. So really, I'd say we were relatively thorough in our assessment, and just having those standards that existing to begin with helped us a lot.
The first production vehicle to have the soy-based foam seat was the 2008 Ford Mustang. Today, all of Ford's vehicles manufactured in North America have them, along with 75% of all headrests being made with the bio-based foam. And soy polyol is being used to make gaskets, with research into use in other rubber products as well. For both Ford and Lear, the work with soy and other bio-based materials fits well with their strive to drive green.
This project really feeds into a greater portfolio and strategy that we have at Ford Motor Company, and that is really trying to make a significant impact to the environment. So we're really excited by the technology of the soy-based foam. It enables us to reduce our petroleum usage, enables us to use an agricultural product grown within the United States, and it also reduces our CO2 emissions annually. If we look at the programs using the soy foam today, we have about 3 million pounds on the road, and that's reducing our annual CO2 emissions by 15 million pounds annually.
Ford's research continues as they hope to be able to use more than just oil from the soybean. The hull, meal, and flour are all potential fillers in the makeup of polymer resins. It's this kind of potential that drives the work of the United Soybean Board New Uses Committee.
It's very, very interesting in working with the Ford and Lear. Things seem to be snowballing from that as far as the usage of soybean meal and oil. We approved several new continuation projects to do with either the plastics, adhesives, coatings, and paintings. There just is a lot of different things that are happening in the soybean industry and the usage of our product that we grow. The soybean is a miracle plant that is being used all over the world, and it's only going to get bigger.
Undoubtedly, Henry Ford would be pleased that his work of 80 years ago has come full circle, with industry and agriculture working in concert to benefit both. Learn more about the work of the United Soybean Board at soynewyuses.org. And Michigan Farm Bureau members can take advantage of a $500 bonus cash offer from Ford on the purchase or lease of selected vehicles. Visit our website at mishfb.com/benefits/Ford.
Hi, I'm Jody. Corn is America's renewable resource. It can be used to fuel your vehicle and heat your home. Corn is grown in abundance in the state of Michigan, and it is a great alternative to foreign oil when it comes to heating your home. In fact, you can install a corn heater, furnace, or boiler in your own home. These work much the same as conventional furnaces, but they use Michigan-grown corn. By using corn to heat our homes, we're creating a more secure future for everyone. Select Michigan. It's good for you, the grower, and the economy. And welcome back. We are back with Mary Sowers of Ashby Sterling Ice Cream. And folks, this looks absolutely delightful. I'm going to turn it over to Mary and have her tell you how you can make something that looks this good. And I think they're lining up outside the door.
Oh, I know. Everybody was kind of oohing and eyeing. This is a red, white, and blueberry cream pie. And this is made with our Ashby Sterling blueberry cream pie ice cream. And then I garnished it with backyard strawberries that I picked last night, and blueberries, and then some whipped cream. The recipe is very simple. They can bring it up on the screen. You can make a graham cracker crust. You could use a pastry crust or shortbread, whichever your favorite is. Allow the ice cream to soften in a bowl. And what I do is I take an ice cream spade or a spatula and kind of take it out in slices. So when you go to put it in the pie, you can kind of put it in a slice in the pie. And then just kind of shape it over, and I mound it a little bit higher in the middle. And this is the blueberry cream pie. But again, there's other applications. I mean, you can make a chocolate cream pie. You can make a grasshopper cream pie. You know, just all you do is just take a look at what ice creams are out there or what your personal favorite is, put it in a pie shell, garnish it, and enjoy. It makes a very fancy looking dessert. It really does.
It really does. And I mean, as fast as you just put this together over there, this looks like you spent a lot of time pulling it all together.
Oh, it does.
And this would look great at any event.
Oh, especially in, you know, whether it be a backyard barbecue or whether you're serving it at a bridal or a baby shower. Anything, you know, it's just a super simple dessert, but yet it looks like you spent all day creating it.
And it's ice cream.
Correct. Correct. Now, again, I garnish this with fresh fruit, but you know, if you don't have fresh fruit, one of the toppings I like to use myself is Herkner's topping. Herkner's topping is a homemade cherry topping from Traverse City, and I know that Sue Keekstra has been on your program before and has promoted it. So again, you know, you might not be able to pick these berries fresh in your backyard, but there's a lot of good Michigan-made toppings out there that you can purchase. And I know they're coming out with a raspberry and a blueberry, so they're going to have some other neat stuff coming out too.
Yeah, lots of good diversity, and don't just have ice cream pie in July.
That's right. You can use it 24/7, 365 days a year.
There you go. Folks, if you want to try this recipe, as always, visit us online at MichiganFarmingGarden.com or write to and send me a self-addressed stamped envelope to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895. They can get this recipe and any others that we've done in the past. Last week we did a great recipe too with ice cream pancakes. Folks, have a great week, and I'll see you back here next weekend. Bye-bye.